We're back on the semi-trailer trail, and the trail of semi-trailers leads us to this model. And it's a Scania R580 Streamline 6x4, which is hooked up to a Bosshaus 4-axle trailer. This is another limited edition from WSI models, and it's in the colours of Gruber, which is an Italian logistics company. In the box are tractor, trailer, and bags of bits. We want to get on the road as soon as possible, so we'll hook up the tractor and trailer. And as usual, clunk click does the trick. Once it's all hooked up, everything looks good with all the trailer wheels grounded. And we can move on to the next part, which is to attach the sideboards onto the gooseneck. These metal parts either have to be pushed in or dropped into holes in the gooseneck. And the side ones in particular do need a bit of downward pressure to get them to be properly installed. One thing you could do to get them properly located is to clean out some of the excess paint from the holes in the gooseneck. Another item included with this model is a Trasporto Eccezionale sign, but there's nowhere at the front of the Scania to clip it. And one thing we don't like doing on cranes etc. is to glue models. Nope, we don't like gluing models. So we'll just use a little bit of plastic putty or blue tack, and one way or another we can keep the sign in place. Diving deep on the Scania, we see a typically detailed chassis from WSI, and the cab looks particularly convincing in the colours of Gruber Logistics. And it's the small details which are pleasing, including the Scania name on the wheel hub. Behind the cab there are coiled lines and also a ladder, and it's nice to see the door mirrors working well. At the back there are nice wheel arches, nice lights, and a realistic number plate. The trailer has high detail, including hoses running underneath, and the sideboards of the gooseneck have the Gruber name on. Another nice touch is the very tiny graphics on the front of the gooseneck. As usual for WSI, the deck has got good plastic replica timbers, and this version of the model has detailed loading ramps at the rear. Once again, we're out on the specially built Cranes etc. Autostrada, and the Scania rolls along very nicely indeed. There is some steering possible on the front axle, but the range of movement is limited. But as we always say, something is better than nothing. Of course, it's always reassuring to know that a truck has got an engine. And on this model, the cab tilts nicely, and there it is, a nice detailed engine. Let's now take a look at the Bosshaus trailer, and we've seen this a few times before. And it's a nice functional model which starts off by rolling well, and it has very good suspension on each of the wheels. The rear two axles are linked together for self-steering, and when they're set they make a fair effort at steering around a corner. If you don't have the trailer hooked up to a tractor, then you need to lower the landing legs and they unscrew. And when you lower them there are nice smooth pistons and no unsightly screw threads. Also, they provide a good support for the trailer. Included with the model are some tiny container locks, and once you place those in position without losing them on the floor, you can add on a container. Of course, if you like to look at things a little longer, then this is an extendable trailer and it stretches out to an impressive length. And here we've closed it up a bit and added on some heavy boom sections as a load. They are a bit wide, so we can pull out the marker boards at the front and add some more at the back, which for some reason are quite loose fitting on this model. With a different load on, we can use the loading ramps, and they are hooked on by chains which you can just release. And then the ramps can be lowered nice and smoothly, and they make good contact with the ground. We can then drive off our load, but make sure you've got the truck brakes on next time. Other inclusions with the model are some ramps that you can use to get up onto the gooseneck. And if you want a wider deck, you just pull out the little beams that are in the edges, and then you can very carefully add on the timbers that span between them. If you are patient, you can do this for the full length down both sides of the deck. This Scania Streamline is an attractive model in the colours of Gruber Logistics. and when hooked up to the trailer you can have it hauling some impressive loads. As well as being good looking, it's detailed and very flexible. So overall, WSI Models has produced another truck which is outstanding.